they called me a bad kid. So I was in a class with all the other bad kids. And man, that kind of, I don't want to say shaped me, but when you get around more bad children and there's not too much positive influence, you kind of start to go down the wrong way. So I can actually remember seeing a therapist and them put me on medicine. Those were my first memories of mental health. They said I had depression, and I remember they put me on Prozac. I'm in like 2nd or 3rd grade. Don't know if that was the best decision, but at the time, that's what happened. Just fast forward a little bit, getting a little bit older, around, I would say 12 years old, I started raising a little bit more hell instead of heaven. We definitely gonna get to the heaven side because God is great, right?
All right.
But I just need to tell you what I went through for God to get me there. About 12 years old, I was running the streets real crazy, like a 12-year-old coming home, 1 in the morning, pack of cigarettes on me. I remember them Newport 25s. I'd buy them because they had the extra 5 cigarettes instead of the 20. And I think cigarettes were like $2.25 when I started smoking. When I quit, they were about $11. And I just quit maybe 8 months ago. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. I started running the streets and started coming home like 1 in the morning, doing all the normal stuff, smoking, disrespecting authority, not listening to my parents, on and on and on. And it was crazy because it was like a transition. My mom was in the process of getting clean. I remember my mom got pregnant with my little brother when I was 11 years old. And from then on, she never did a drug another day in her life. But I was a single child until 12 years old. So when my brother was born, my mom moved from Crestus to good old McKeesport. We moved on Versailles Avenue, right across from that old school gas station by JJ's. My memories there were coming over from Rolling Woods and Crestus. I actually already thought I was a little gangbanger, so at 12 years old, I was a Crip. I had the whole uniform. I had the blue Dickie shirt, the blue Dickies. I had the Converse, blue Converse. I had rubber bands. Now I got a bald head. I had the blue rubber bands. You couldn't tell me nothing. I thought it was Snoop Dogg or somebody. But my little brother, didn't start walking till a little after 1. And I just remember his birthday is July 8th. And I just remember my mom asked me to go get some more hot dog buns. And I said, I'm gonna take what's going on, bro?
That's my same birthday.
Respect. So she said, Harlan, go get some more hot dog buns, we're running out. I said, okay, Mom. I'm gonna take my little brother with me. So I scooped him up in my arms and we walked to JJ's. I'll never forget. Oh man, there's like 20 dudes in all red at in front of the JJ's. And all I could think was, man, I got a baby, they ain't gonna mess with me. So I went in the store and I could hear him like, when he comes outside, we're gonna do this. And when he comes outside, we're gonna do that. So I'm looking at the cashier and I'm just giving the guy the look like, can you hear what I hear? Because I don't want to snitch on the guys, but I want him to call the police, but I gotta be too tough, so I'm not going to tell him like, hey, these guys are about to beat me up when I leave the store with my 1-year-old brother. So I didn't say nothing, and I just walked out the store very fast. And they chased me. A guy grabbed me. I had to drop my brother, punch him, pick my brother back up, run around the corner. Thank God my uncles were in the yard, so when they seen the grown people, thank God that we lived right by JJ's. So that particular day, I didn't get jumped, but there was many days where I got jumped. It was just a struggle, I remember, because, trying to stay like I was hard, made life hard. I remember like getting on a bus on Bailey and Willow, right on the corner of Bailey and Willow. This is like real gangbanging days in the 90s. You know, rest in peace to Big Wizzy and CC Bone and all of them. If you're from McKeesport, you know who I'm talking about. What you say, bro? Exactly. Wow, I just got off point. What you say, sister? I do it all the time. I forget what I'm saying. That's why I brought notes with me. But it was a crazy time. I remember getting on a bus and I'm like, I really want to sit behind the bus driver so these dudes don't kill me, but I don't want to look like a punk either. So I ain't gonna sit all the way in the back. I'm gonna sit like in the middle so I don't look too soft. But if they jump on me, you know, the bus driver can see and hopefully I'll get saved before they kill me. But I was living like that for 1 year. I remember I was 6th grade. And then for 7th grade, I said, Mom, I'm moving back with Grandma. So I went back to Crestus and went back to the East Allegheny School District. But now when I get back to that school district, I think I'm a little bit tough now because all of the Crips in my neighborhood, they never left Crestus. So they never, you know, had opposition or, you know, they never had to get beat up or wonder if they're going to sit on the back of the bus. So when I came back, I had a different attitude. Like I was a little bit more experienced and tougher than everybody. But that also was crazy too, because I remember when I came back to Crestus, they were like, you a McKeesport dude. They used to call me a slob, which was a derogatory term for a blood. And that drove me crazy because I'm over here fighting for us, the Crips, and you guys are telling me, go back to McKeesport, your blood. So it was confusing, but I never changed to the point where I started getting a little bit too grown to where I'll never forget. I came back from school, and when I came in my grandma's yard, there was all these bags lined up. They were full of my clothes, and I see my dad's car. I ain't seen my dad in a long grip. I said, something ain't right. And when I went in the house, Grandma was just like, I tried all I could, Harlan, but you need a man in your life. So I'm sorry, baby, but you gotta go today. And I was caught off guard. That broke me down. I was angry. But Grandma was definitely right. Of course, at the time, you know, I was upset at her and just mad at the world, but she did the best she could, and she already had raised her children, right? One thing about my grandma, though, she always led me to Christ. Grandma had me in vacation Bible school. She also taught, so I'd be at church early, I'd be at church late, I'd be at church on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She went to a church called Union Baptist, right around the corner from Triangle, hoagie place out there in Swissville.
Triangle Bar?
Yeah, right around the corner from the Triangle Bar. Rest in peace to Reverend Dawes. If you listen to some of my music, you'll hear me talk about that. But I just remember, like, my dad saying, come on, and I went over there with him. But the thing about moving with my dad was, as much as he would put me on punishment, every once in a while he'd put his hands on me. My dad, rest in peace, was 6'5", 350 pounds, so he wasn't a little man. So when he used to put his hands on me, he might not see me for 2 or 3 days. So he learned, like, if I hit Harlan might disappear, so let me try something different. So he would, like, you're on punishment. He'd take away my stereo. You know, I loved music my whole entire life. He'd take away my speakers and stuff, and things like that. But none of it worked. None of it worked. But like, I just want you guys to remember that my grandma had planted the seed. You know, I think it's very important that we plant seeds, and because you can plant a seed, and man, you can leave and you can come back years later, and that seed may begin to sprout. But we have to plant the seeds, and I just thank God for the seeds that were planted in my life, you know? So like my dad, I was doing the same thing over there. Hey, Dad, we got a trip to Geauga Lake. Oh, here's some cash, son. Nah, man, I'm taking that cash. We're going to go get some weed and some pizza and call some girls and have some fun. Just being an idiot. And I started raising the bar. You know, we got into everything from robbery. Stuff that, you know, I know God forgave me for, but just thinking about it, talking about it, still rubs me the wrong way to this day. We snatched ladies' purses. We did all type of bad stuff. And I ended up going to Older Dice after Reisenstein. And I remember I had the A lunch. So we were allowed to go outside during lunch. And I was like, we can go outside? Okay, so when I went outside for A lunch, I'd be out there for B, C, D. I made my own lunches. I made like an E. I made an F lunch. And we wasn't doing nothing but out there smoking weed in Frick Park, and missing school, missing education, and being, you know, we were just being stupid. But, so I get kicked out of there, and they put me in a place called the Option Center. You know, another place where it's like bad kids all in the same place. And every time I got into one of those places, it was almost like a badge of honor. You get like another badge in the streets for going through this type of stuff. So it was actually telling me I was going the wrong way, but since my brain was wired wrong, I thought I was going the right way. I'm really that dude. These people really don't know who they messing with. That's how I felt, right? I remember I got caught my first case, I got caught with a gun. I'm actually going back. 14 years old, I got caught with a gun out there. Because I didn't say that. We moved so I went to Older Dice, but I ended up at Westinghouse High School in Homewood because my dad was dating one girl and he got caught cheating. And so when he got kicked out, we just moved in the other girl's house. So rest in peace, Miss Ramona. We moved from Miss Ramona's to Miss Terry's house. And man, Homewood was a whole different beast. First night I was there, seen a drive-by right in front of my house. And I knew I immediately needed to get safe. So naturally, like every kid around that area at that time, I found a group of guys. But see, the groups turned into gangs. And everybody was against each other. I'm talking about, like I was on North Lang Ave, so we were the North Lang Crips, but then if you were on Dallas Ave, Dallas was feuding with us, and then Moeller Projects next to us was feuding with us, so like, I mean, you couldn't go anywhere. It was real, it wasn't the way for, you know, for a teenager to go, but this was life. This was life. Like, we gonna get some money together to get high. We gonna have some fun. Like, we'd be in these abandoned houses. Was there any children here with girls and doing all type of, you know, the type of stuff that we did as kids. But it got worse. Yeah, people actually started, around 15 or something, people started dying. People started getting killed. Lost more friends than I could count. And that's from mostly gun violence, but neck and neck with gun violence is overdoses. I mean, I lost a ton of my best, closest friends overdosing, man. So I would advise anybody, if you're on drugs, to get off of drugs. My name is Harlan Tobe. You could reach me anywhere on the internet. I will send you whatever information I got, and I have a lot of information. My friend Kalichi runs sober houses all across America. Like, if you have somebody in Kansas that needs help, reach out to me and I'll get you the correct information. You know, like I said, my mom got clean when she had my brother, and she ended up getting about 27, 28 years clean before she passed away. And I never seen, like, at her funeral, there was more people that she helped than, like, family. It was just overwhelming. the help she was able to do here in McKeesport when she just stayed clean and just kept a good relationship with God. You know, I drove her crazy. I remember I got her house shot up on Locust Street. That was a crazy night. I'm just going to give you guys the PG version, but it was a lot of crazy stuff going on. I'll never forget. So this one summer was the last summer I lived with my dad. I came back over here, going between my mom's in McKeesport and my grandma's in North Versailles, and I never wanted a job. So how do you get money when you don't have no job and your family's poor? Well, you do all types of things. So we basically did whatever to get money, and that landed me in Bolingbrook Prep. This was a boys' home in Kemar, Maryland. I didn't even know, I was like 15 or 16 when they sent me up there. I didn't know that you could even get sent out of state that young. So it was pretty scary, as tough as I thought I was, when they sent me up Maryland. And I stayed up there for about a year, a little over a year. I'll never forget, because I thought wow, this shows how old I am. I thought the planet was going to blow up. It was 1999, December 31st, and we were all sitting in our bunks. I was with a bunch of bad kids, and we thought we were all going to blow up at 12 o'clock. But we did. I should have been more in my Bible up there, and then I wouldn't have been worried. Only reason I would keep going, but the only reason I'm gonna go back to this thing I skipped, because this was something that really moved me. I remember, so I was in the Homewood Assist program. After I got caught with that gun, I was in Schumann for 2 or 3 months, and then they put me on house arrest for like 8 months. It's kind of like the academy, but it's called the SIS program. There was a Homewood one. I think they have one in McKeesport. But it's like after school, a van comes and picks you up, and it takes you to this place, and you sit there all day until nighttime, and they take you home. And you do that every day until your sentence is done. And we got like random drug tests. You know, they would have people come and speak to us like how I'm speaking to you now. That's why I broke down and started crying on the way here, because for me to sit here and have something positive to give to anybody is honestly blowing my mind. But God is amazing like that. So, but I remember in Assist, right? They went around the room, we were all standing, and they'd be like, 1, 2, like, let me go down. You might make it. You might make it. You. So they ended up telling us, I believe, I could be off, but they said like 85% of you guys are not gonna make it. That's just the cold hard facts about it. I'll never forget how upset we was all mad at the staff that day. Like, how you gonna tell me I ain't gonna make it? You know what I'm saying? But now that I look back, the number was too low. Hardly any of us made it. Most of those guys are dead. Most of those guys got killed somebody, or in a federal penitentiary. I mean, seriously, it ain't too many of us left. So that was a true fact that he told us. Like, most of you guys are not gonna make it. That's why, is it called a moniker? I'm not sure, I'm just gonna call it a moniker, but that's why I go by Harlan but God. Like, because if it wasn't for God, man, Harlan would be in a lot of trouble. So we talked about that SIS program. One great thing that SIS program did, though, they took us to this church. I can't remember the name of the church. I want to say we was on Wiley Avenue, but it was so long ago. You know what I'm saying? But it was a spirit-filled church. I remember feeling different when we went in there, and they sat us all on like the front 2 pews. And the pastor was preaching, man. That's crazy, because I never thought about it. I could remember it like it was yesterday. The pastor was preaching, and I felt the Spirit of the Lord, and it hit me different. Grabbed my heart. I believe, I can't remember, but I want to say, I know I did. I gave my life to the Lord that night, and I believe all of us did, right? I think every guy that came here that night, we all gave our life to the Lord. But it didn't stick. You know what I'm saying? We weren't ready to change. I say we got touched by God, but went right back to war because the streets had us. Like